My
All
Gatorade.
right.
Right. I've been sick all. Oh, we're
You've
live
been sick,
all day, dog.
dog. Like there's been
I
people at
literally,
work been sick and shit too.
I literally been asleep for the last like three. Well, no, I woke up probably about 8:15. So like 3 hours before that.
Yeah, bro. Like all I remember is uh the guy in the rugby department. He came to my office. He was like, "Hey, we don't have no more tickets." And he started coughing and shit. I'm like, two things. Number one, get away from my office and my door coughing. Number two, I just printed 100 of them damn tickets about 2 weeks ago. How did y'all run through 100 tickets in 2 weeks? How did we do that many jobs? So I was like, all right, I'll bring them to you. Give me a second, bro. I've been having my Lysol and my the Lysol wipes or whatever, the little off brand thing from Sam's.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having them like sitting on my desk. I don't play. Like I got a big ass thing of hand sanitizer, the big gallon with a pump, and I got another like the nice hand sanitizer with the lotion. I got all that stuff on my desk in my office, bro. I do not play. Like y'all get away from me if you sick. I cannot afford to be sick.
Same. I hate this shit, yeah.
Can't
As you can hear,
stand it.
dog.
But bruh, I already know. I already know. Trust me. I already know. But yeah, man. Episode 52 of Susio Sports. That's Keyz. I'm Jermaine.
Yo.
Presented by Gel Blasters. You can see it in the background, and you can see Inplay Dogs in the upper right hand corner. Y'all know what it is. But man, let's get the show started the right way.
Hey, all this shit off the muscle, that struggle was stuffed in the bitch like a knuckle. Got to that bag, needed chips like a ruffle double. Now I can take care of my mother. Just got me a house, watch the price of another. This check out the brain, gotta die if you want it. Came up off of violence, don't mean I condone it. I'm chilling, but I keep the Glock if you want it.
Hey, shorty, just checking up on you. I see you out there shining. You and all that you've accomplished. I just want you to be safe, stay strong.
So I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the album yet. I haven't. And
Who big album?
yeah, I haven't had a chance to peep it out yet.
I haven't heard his or Glorilla's yet. I heard good things about both though.
Yeah, I did. I've heard good things, yeah, about both of them. So yeah, we played some of hers last week. It was dope, man. But yeah, that's the very first song on the album.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna peep that probably tonight. I'll probably be up playing the game for a minute. So
yeah, I gotta be to work kind of early. So, but homie came through in the clutch today at work, man. He water damage guy that we work with. He was like, "Hey, I asked everybody else. I'm finally hitting you. Like, I'm stopping at the gas station, bring you a drink. You want something?" I was like, "Bring me a Red Bull. Bring me a Red Bull."
That's what
I
I
don't
need
need
right
it tonight for the pod. I know I'm gonna need it tomorrow morning when I get here early. So
now. Listen, you peeping this WNBA game?
bro, that's the other thing. I gotta get my remotes because the remote's like way over there.
Yeah, I've been watching that joint since I woke up. It's in
What's the score right now?
Fourth quarter, 61-62 Minnesota. Fourth quarter just started. So Minnesota was up most of the game. New York closed the gap out in the third. Stewie.
Oh, I see that they outscored them by 7 in the third.
Yeah, Stewie was balling in the second half. Minnesota playing great defense though. Close game, but still like really good defense. Ooh,
and you know that's the thing that I think a lot of times people underrate. A lot of times with these ladies is their ability to play defense.
Right.
Everybody wants to look at who can score and who can do this, who can do that. You know, they see the Caitlin Clarks and the Asia Wilsons and whatnot, but it's like, bruh,
They don't pay attention to those defensive stats.
man. And I'm saying this is why Asia Wilson further established herself as the best player in the world. She led the league in scoring, led the league in rebounding, and was like third or fifth or something like that in blocks. And I want to say she averaged, like a steal a game or so. Like, come on, man, stop playing. Stop playing. It ain't even funny or worth the argument no more to try to put up an argument for someone else. At this point, she's just clear cut. I'm that you know what. I ain't gonna say it right now because if we still trying to monetize, I think I gotta wash my mouth for like the first I don't know how many minutes, but I know already cut at least once. So
I think we have.
Yeah. I be trying YouTube. I really do. Gel blasters, Inplay dogs. I'm gonna get it together. I promise. But nah, episode 52, man. We happy to be here. We got a little bit of lot and some good stuff to get into. But with them two playing right now, man, and that series is tied 1-1, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tied 1-1 game 3. So this is like that. Game 3s and game 5s are always those critical games. Always those critical games. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that, what's up, Randy? It's always something that I like to pay attention to and to see who's going to actually take control of the series or what have you. What's up, Vin? Vin says, I got the Mets on the radio, Liberty on the TV, and the gel is blasting tonight.
Hold on. Let's talk about how old school that first part is. He got the Mets on the radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's some old.
Yes, sir.
Where's Vin from? I don't think I've asked.
New York.
Oh yeah, I see, and that's what I had to ask that before I preference my next part. That's some old school New York shit. That is some New York shit. If it ain't, my grandfather used to do the same thing. Down south do the same, but like I used to love that, especially in New York. It's just the Mets and the Yankees on the radio, or the Dodgers. Well, when they were in New York, the Dodgers. But nah, that's fire, man.
Yeah, man, bruh. Like, I know, for example, like there's a guy here that's really, really old school, Charlie Palillo here in Houston. Charlie still has the whole scorekeeper sheet for baseball. Every game he goes to, he keeps the score on paper.
Oh, that's fire.
Like real old school. Yeah, so it's still some old school baseball people out there. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I did it a few times, like when the Astros was in the playoffs and stuff, and I'd be riding around and it's a day game or whatever, and you listening to it on the radio, you get a different appreciation for listening to stuff on the radio. I used to listen to Saints on the radio when I first moved to Houston. And then I was just like, fuck it, I'll just get direct TV, the Sunday ticket. So, but yeah, man, it's definitely an old school vibe when you know doing little stuff like that, man. It's always cool to see and appreciate people who still hold up those little traditions and whatnot. Dre says it's fun to keep scoring again. He be doing it too, but I think Dre uses that thing on his phone, the little app or whatever. But I know it's still a lot of people that still like to keep score with just the regular, you know what I'm saying, pencil, paper.
That's like at NASCAR. So like, remember I told you when we went, that was actually my first race. Like, love NASCAR, been following it for years, but I've never been to a race up until recently. It was dope for like, cause Breeze had one, and I was intrigued by it. He had the radio that you can rent, so you can follow so you can like change the channels for the pit crews and listen to the pit crew live during the race. And it was a lot of people that had them. Shit was like cool as hell though.
Yeah, this fool. I heard the Dre signal. We both pulled up.
That's crazy.
Bro, was really great. Matter of fact, shout out to Dre on 290, man. We went over to our homeboy Raul's restaurant, Kobo's, downtown, right across from the convention center, Minute Maid and everything. They about to have to shut it down, and you're gonna have to relocate because they're expanding 45. We don't know when, so we pulled up there this past Saturday just to go show him some love and hang out with him and everything. So just shout out to Raul and the whole crew over there at Kobo's. Matter of fact, they started doing some construction and stuff nearby there today, but he still opened up, got steak night going right now. So if you in the Houston area and you downtown, you might want to head over there to Kobo's and get you a steak plate because trust me, it's well worth it. Yeah, Vince, shout out to Body More Bottles. Shout out to Zell. Recorded an episode Monday night with Zell.
Very dope.
It was good to like tap into like that black bourbon community and the black drinking community and whatnot, the way Zell is tapped in, because that clip that he posted where I compared my daily drinker, one of my favorite bourbons, Evan Williams, Bottled and Bond. I compared it to the pick and roll in basketball, because y'all know I had to keep it sports. And I said the pick and roll is the one play that has been run in every iteration, in every generation, every era of basketball effectively. It goes well with everything. It don't matter what style of play you have, whether it's two guards, it's a big and a guard, a wing and a guard, or whoever. The pick and roll has survived the test of time in the game of basketball, and that's Evan Williams, Bottled and Bond for me, because you can drink it neat, you can drink it on the rocks, you could drink it mixed in different drinks. It goes well. So that one has been getting a lot of a decent little run. I'm kind of happy about that. But of course, I have to shout out the network, shout out especially Susio Sports, what we do here. Keep it sports and everything, and
of
just
course
get Zell back into the groove of things, because pods like that are needed, man, because it's not a lot of us in certain areas that's doing certain things. And in the drinking and especially in the bourbon community, that's one of those untapped areas that we need to tap more into and get into, especially when you got brands out there like Uncle Nearest and now Beyonce with Sir Davis. They got some guys here in Texas that make Highway Hemp vodka. Bro, and trust me, if I can find a way to get you a bottle for you to try, trust me, I drank this vodka out the bottle. I poured it in a cup and just sipped on it. It was that good. We were actually on air here in Houston, 97.5. They came in the studio and everything, and we were just sitting there chilling. Poured it up, and I'm like, I'm waiting for it to burn, because it's vodka. So I'm thinking, the grainy alcohol, and it's clear, and I drink clear liquor, but I'm a brown fan. No, not that Highway Hemp vodka. That was dope. But
hold on, we have a guest. Hold on.
Hi.
What's up, man?
Say what's up. You're talking to the mic. Say what's up. You ain't got to talk on the mic. I said talk in the mic.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Hi.
What's going on?
He said, "What's going on?"
You.
No, he asked you.
You.
No, you. Never
mind. They be cracking me up when they do that.
All
yeah,
right.
Man. But it's
Bye.
Later. Dre says he was happy to see Lonzo Ball hit that 3-pointer.
We gonna get to that. I was too though. I was too. Though.
We're gonna get to that. We definitely gonna get to that. But no, man, this week has been kind of cool. It did the podcast and stuff. Did Black Wrestling. Did Body More Bottles. We did a pop-up episode Sunday.
You personally have had a week, man.
Yeah.
Good week. You've been on tour. Latour.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the brand out there as much as possible, dog. Whatever we could do is
Listen,
just.
now you back home.
You know what I'm
But you
saying?
went on a little tour. Hey,
Yeah, I
Dre is
had to.
wilding too, yo. That's funny as shit. That is funny as fuck.
You know what?
I love it. You know I love it.
Bro, yeah, and this is why I say, even though he's a Cowboys fan, he's a realist.
No, I respect even me as an Eagles fan. I'm a realist. Like I like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's funny as shit because fucking Dakota Rain. Fucking Dakota Rain.
You should have been there Saturday when we was all hanging out, and it's 3 Cowboys fans, right? 3 of them, bro. Raul came over there and said something to talk some shit, and them 3, him, Dre, Dustin, and Dallas, total Dallas. He be in the chat sometimes too. They just went in on the Cowboys for like 15 minutes straight. Like, I'm like, they pissed. They and these are hardcore long-term Cowboy fans, and they pissed.
I knew they were gonna lose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no funny. I knew they were gonna lose. I just didn't think they were gonna get their ass whooped like that. I thought they would make it more of a game, but I don't know who Dak was saying in the end zone. I don't know who, I don't know if he needed to get LASIK, something. Ain't no way he was just tossing it like that.
It was bad, bro. It was bad.
He had a parlay that he didn't tell nobody about. Yep. I'm convinced that he had a parlay that he ain't tell nobody about.
The funniest thing to me was actually they managed them 3 field goals, right? And if it weren't for that kicker, they probably wouldn't have had them 9 points because they were all. Let me look it up again because I want to say they were all. I think the shortest one was like 47 or so. Something like that. But like whenever your field goal kicker has to kick that many field goals and they're that long of a field goal, that tells me the offense really ain't moving the ball like they think they should be, because there's no reason why your field goal kicker should have that many long ass field goals.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I had
he was
Lions.
3-3.
3. They couldn't get in the end zone. Yeah, they couldn't get in the end zone. Even when they got close to the end zone, it was like he was throwing to the Lions. So it wasn't like they were getting down there. He just, I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. He had a 34-yarder to open the game. And then he had 47 and a 50-yarder. And on that drive, they had 39 yards on the 50-yarder. They had 1 yard on the 47-yarder. And that first drive of the game was probably their longest drive of the game. It was 54 yards. But yeah, it was just the Lions just. I mean, that team plays so hard and so physical. Losing Aiden Hutchinson for the season with that tibial fracture, bro, that's gonna really hurt. No pun intended. That's gonna really hurt. And I like that team, not only because I like the way they play, I like their style of football, but I do like Dan Campbell. He used to be a coach on the Saints staff, and he has Aaron Glenn up there with him. So I like the guys on that team. I like that staff and everything. Like I just it's gonna hurt. What they need to look into is that Hassan Reddick thing, that report that came out. Remember we saw it. It was like they gave him permission to seek a trade. At first they thought, okay, he's just gonna work it out with the Jets, and then next thing you know, saw another report that says they gave him a small window to seek a trade with another team.
And then also, working out something with the Jets also. Also look for the Browns to start moving more players also, just to get money off the books and start over. I've been seeing Myles Garrett's name out there.
That name has popped up a ton. a ton. Dre,
I'm
okay,
hoping.
wait a minute.
I'm hoping Howie makes some moves on that one.
Dre, let me just explain something to you. Because and I'm glad I sent it to the chat because that's the only way I remember some of this stuff, man. Is I'll have to send it to one of the chats or something. If I don't, I'm not gonna remember to bring it up on the show. That's why a lot of the times Keyz will see me just send stuff to the account, and I'll be like, "Bro, just ignore it," because I'm trying to remember stuff, and it's the only way
I do the same thing though.
Where I put exactly.
It's like if I really need to remember it, I send it to the other inbox. But if it's just some shit I'm sending y'all, I just send it to y'all.
Yeah. So this is why I put it in there. A couple things. The Saints wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 tomorrow. Tell me if any of these guys ring a bell or if they strike any fear in your heart. Mason Tipton, Cedric Wilson, Bub Means.
I don't even know who any of those guys are, respectfully.
Bro, shot of the night.
Jermaine's drinking for me tonight, guys. I am under the weather, but I'm here with you guys. But he's drinking for me too. So,
but that's why I pulled out the big dog.
Oh,
the larceny barrel proof.
Are those Nike employees? No, they work for New Balance or Converse, actually.
Bro, it's
that's a different Wilson. I know which one you're talking about, Dre. The Wilson that played for the 49ers was a different one.
Oh yeah, no, that was
I can't think of his name.
Where they got him from, bro?
It's a young boy, Wilson, that you talking about, Dre. Well, I don't know if he's young anymore, but
yeah, but they're man.
It's gonna be an interesting game not to watch.
I'm watching
it. I ain't watching that shit. I mean, you're a fan, so I get it, but I'm not watching that.
I be locked into the Thursday night game sometimes just cause. Like what my Thursday night routine is in the fall, I'll have whatever the game is on, probably on mute because it's probably a terrible game. And then I'll have like Black Wrestling on my laptop. And now since they switched Public Enemies, I'll have them like on my phone or my other laptop or something. But like now I'm glad I got another laptop. That way I can have two laptops. I don't have one phone, one laptop when I'm watching two podcasts at the same time. So it's cool. But I'm gonna be looking out for that game. This Cedric Wilson actually played. He was the one that played in Dallas. That's who it was.
I'm sure Dallas fans don't remember him either.
Dallas and Miami. I kind of vaguely remember. I do remember him in Dallas a little bit. Yeah, he's like, who? Yeah, that's how I looked at them also because that's my team. I knew Bub Memes was on the team because of his name. That was the only reason why I knew him. He got a little size on him, so he like 6'2", like 215. Good size receiver. Hopefully he can get some separation to get himself open. Mason Tipton, I remember because he's like a shorter kind of, not really short. He's 5'11", not too short, but he ain't one of them 6 foot, 2, 6'3" guys or whatever. But that's who Spencer Rattler most likely is going to start. Is going to have to throw to. So
Spencer looked good Sunday too.
He did. He really did.
The defense. Yeah, I was gonna say the defense is what like sold him, but like bro actually looked really good on Sunday. So
and the worst part is I'm really happy for him. The kid looked good. The worst part is you had guys like Will Harris, Demario Davis, Pete Werner, guys that they really relied upon that was out or hurt or banged up or couldn't play or whatever. And then with all the guys that's out on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, honestly, as a fan and just being logically as a, media person or what have you, like I really don't see that team getting any better anytime soon until they get healthy.
Nah.
Because they don't have the depth. And this is why I tell people depth is so critical. Talking to Cowboys fans, same thing. This is why depth is so critical. Is because when you do have all those injuries and you do have to say next man up, that next man up better be ready to play and he better be talented. I take it back to the 2010 Green Bay Packers. They won the Super Bowl that year. Right? So the year after the Saints won it. Aaron Rodgers, the famous photo of him posing on the podium with the belt that Clay Matthews gave him, the old big gold belt, all of that good stuff. That Green Bay team was a wild card team that had, I want to say, 15 guys on injured reserve.
Damn.
15 out for the season, gone. So when people say, oh, well, injuries do matter. They do. But it's also not as much of an excuse as you would think it is. It's not the kind of excuse you want to continue to rely upon and use and just say, well, we were hurt. Everybody's hurt. It's football. Even the guys that are playing are banged up. Somebody might use the argument, well, that was Aaron Rodgers. He's the most talented quarterback to ever play, or he may be he's this, he's that, he's the GOAT quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's great. However, it don't matter. He still had to play. He still had to play with guys that weren't there before, and he wasn't planning on playing with a whole lot. He had to rely on those guys. So it's still something to look at, but injuries are a part of the game. Everybody got to deal with them, and so it's always next man up. What we gonna do? What we got going? Other games that this past weekend that kind of I'm trying to think of what else really stuck out to me. Caleb Williams passing for 4 touchdowns on Sunday against the Jags. That was interesting to watch. Joe Flacco's still getting it done at 147 years old. I'm proud.
I was about to say,
Joe Flacco.
Barry had me weak last week, man. Said that man collecting he collecting AARP checks and NFL checks. It's crazy.
Shout out to Barry, man. That Ravens Commanders game was a good game. That was a good game to see the Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels duel.
Nah, it definitely was.
I know for a fact there have to be 31 other general managers in football that are kicking themselves right now for passing up on Derrick Henry. And I'm including the Titans in this for not trying to keep him.
I would say 30 only because we went out and got the running back we really wanted. We got Saquon, so.
Oh, you know what? My bad. You right.
I would 30. Say 31. 30. Well, yeah, 30. Yeah.
We're gonna say 30. We're gonna say 30 because
because they were the top 2 running backs that were like free agent wise, and it was like once Saquon fell off the board, it was where Derrick Henry going, and almost everybody said Dallas. There was a few people that were like, nah, Baltimore. I was in between because I was like, Dallas is going to make that push. But Baltimore, that's who they were talking about at the trade deadline last year too. That it was Baltimore, and that was where he wanted to be. Once Dallas came out and was like, we ain't got that money, which was a lie, of course. They just ain't want to pay it. Now they wishing they would have because that run, having a Derrick Henry, that run game would have took that pressure off of Dakota. I think he would have been playing better. Also, they're not giving now, Dre. You might know this a little better because you pay attention, of course. Are they not giving Zeke the ball? Have you noticed that too? The Zeke really hasn't been getting a lot of touches.
I don't know. I know it was an issue.
Good sir, the Broncos were never an option. I'm sorry.
But
I like Bo Nix though. Go Bo.
There was something that I read. I don't know if it was after that Lions game.
Oh shit! New
Or
York came back. Wow. New York
or
is...
if it was before the Lions game, but there was an issue with oh wow, it's a 2-point game.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now with 20 seconds left. New York is up.
Yeah, because I put it on the Gamecast on another tab on the computer. Like when you said that, I was like, oh well, I can't get
Minnesota
up right now and get the remote. But
this reminds me of last year's series though, a lot. Which tells me Minnesota.
The back and forth and the close game and shit.
Yeah, which tells me Minnesota's gonna win
because they used to it.
But New York ain't dying. I tell you that. Last few games he's been used a bit less, and I noticed that. I definitely did that. His touches have went down, and it's not because he's not being productive or anything like that. I also have read something that Jerry was saying that they're limiting his touches to use him on the back end, like preserving his energy. I can understand that, but at the same time, if y'all are losing,
you need him.
You kind of need him. So
you need him. You brought him in for a reason, man. And if your other running backs aren't getting it done,
yeah,
it makes no sense. Give the man the ball. Like, you can't get to the dance if you. I mean, what is the saying? Whatever the saying is, but like, if you save that dance move, but if a girl invites you to a party or something, and you don't use that dance move right then and there, you lose it.
Yep.
You got to get there first. So I don't know, man. It's just
Bo Nix fans call themselves bohos.
Bohos.
Wow. White people. Can I say that?
Bro,
I don't know.
The Steelers are 4-2 now.
Bro, this was still I listened to the soundbite and I still don't understand why, if you're 4-2 behind the young boy, right? Who's come in, he's done what everybody didn't think he could do. And you're gonna bench him for Russ just because he's healthy? Stupid. I don't think so. Only because to me, there was a quarterback battle going into the offseason, right? I mean, everybody said Russ is the starter. But during the preseason, Fields looks great. Season starts, he's 4-2. Now, if he was 2-4, I get it. I totally understand it. I'm behind it. Go ahead, make that change.
Right.
Go ahead and make that change. But I knocked the mic over. If y'all didn't know, I swiped across and the mic flew. But if you were 2-4, I totally get it. But you 4-2, yeah. Why? I don't understand making the change. Now you killing his confidence because if Russ fucks up, now it's like, oh, hey, Justin, we need you again. Like, I just feel like that's stupid,
bro. It's gonna be so awkward when Russ gets in the game and he does not play well.
Right. So many I told you so's.
They have to send that circle back, hey, big head text to Justin Fields.
and as a professional, what does he got to do? Go in the fucking game. Because that's his damn job. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm like, you fuck niggas, you should have never made the change. You saw what the fuck I was doing. We 4-2. Go out there and go make a trade. Give me another wide receiver. That's all I need. Go give me another wide receiver and let's turn up. We've been doing good.
Devontae wanted to come there,
and we easily can win that division.
And if you look at what the Jets gave up, that pick from the Steelers may not have looked as good, but I'm saying though, like, what if they put less conditions on it to turn into a second round pick? You know what I'm saying? Because you're thinking like, okay, they're pretty good. You know, this team is doing like really They're doing big things and everything, and you would just think like, I'm gonna take the sorry team because their draft pick is probably going to be better than I'm going to take the good team. However, what if you took that sorry team and now you're making them better by giving them this player so that draft pick won't hold as much weight? You know, with that other team, it's Russell Wilson and Justin Fields at quarterback. This team has Aaron Rodgers. You know that Steelers defense is one of the best in the league. That Jets defense, it's okay, but it has a potential to be one of the better defenses in the league. You add to the weapons that Aaron Rodgers has to throw to, it's got to only help. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't think so.
I wonder how far the Steelers and other teams actually pushed to get Devontae, and then what came down to it, him going.
I think it came down to where I think it came down to where he wanted to go. I think he wanted to go with Aaron, and at the end of the day, that's where they looked at that because all they got was a 4th round for him. I think Devontae.
So was it? I thought it was a 3rd conditional second, or was it a 4th conditional 3rd?
I think it was a 4th conditional 3rd. Hold on, let me look.
Wow, Liberty ended up pulling it out.
Yeah. Shocking, not really shocking, but
I mean, coming back from 15 down is crazy, but it was like they were down 15 like earlier in the game, though. It wasn't like they was down 15. Like,
all right, here you go. The Jets have acquired Devontae Adams from the Raiders in exchange for a 2025 conditional 3rd round pick. And yeah, that was it. Just a conditional 3rd round.
I want to say, because let me see, because I think I retweeted it from the account earlier. It's something like if he's an all-pro 1st or 2nd team, or if he's on the roster in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, one of those 2 things has to happen or whatever in order for it to trigger to be like a 2nd rounder.
But I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm looking at this wide receiver room, right? You're adding Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard. Now you're giving him Devontae Adams. Still got Mike Williams.
No, he gone. They cut him.
Oh, they did cut him. That's gonna be interesting too. I think the Bills. I think the Bills move.
He gone.
To me was bigger with them getting Amari Cooper, especially the way Amari been playing. And now you give Allen a solid number 1, which he did not have, because Keon Coleman's just now getting his footing. The first couple games, he was still getting his NFL feet wet. Now I can tell he's very comfortable, and that's going to be very dangerous. That young man is fire.
Bro, the biggest thing is I think me and Maddie was talking about this actually. I was like, you know, he still has to learn how to get and create separation. But once he figures some stuff out, like as far as cleaning up technique and different things like that,
and finding that gear when you're trying to like go past, that's the one thing. Like I learned that in high school, to be honest. I mean, some people do, some people don't, but it was like finding that gear to go past or to get that's like you said, get separation. To get open, even if it's just a smidge, it's still a gear that you're going a little bit faster than or doing something different than the D-back or the safety, whoever's on you, to get open. So once he does figure that out, him and Allen are going to be nasty. But you add Amari, that helps him out because now Amari's going to get all the attention, and it opens it up for Keon and some of the other receivers to do a little more and maneuver more. So I like that more than adding Devontae to an already good wide receiver room in a sense. It just gives it's one of them, I guess the rich keep getting richer, but they rich and ain't really spending no money, if that makes sense. Like the Jets haven't done anything. So it's like you add the O-line in the offseason. Rodgers is back healthy. I think and I said this a few weeks ago, and I'm not sure if anybody in the chat remembers or if you feel the same. This is really feeling Favre like. As much as he's tried to get out of, it's so crazy because excuse me, it's so crazy that he's tried to get out of his shadow that you make the same move. So that tells me Minnesota's next. Like, you gonna do a stint in Minnesota or is the Jets it? Like,
nah, man,
even if not, it's still Favre like. Look at Favre last, like his run with the Jets. It was ass. This run by Rodgers has been ass. Like, it's more tarnishing his career in the end than it is helping.
Yeah, he really needs to make a serious comeback this season and like
hang it up. Time to hang it up. He trying to chase Brady and chase and I mean I ain't gonna say chase anybody else because I have him behind Brady as far as what we've watched since about, I'll say like 96, 7, right after that last Cowboys run. I always go then because that's when, you know, football changed a little after that. After that point, that 97, maybe 2000, around there. But I'll even go then. Since 2000, I would say Brady and then Rodgers are probably 1-2 as far as what we've seen as quarterbacks, and then I'll put Peyton and Eli 3-4 behind that. I don't know who would be 5, but those will probably be the top 4 since 2000, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Ben. I'll probably put Ben at 5. Now that I think about it, Roethlisberger, he's probably somewhere in there in that top 5, I guess.
When I look at A-Rod's career,
Drew Brees. How the fuck did I forget Drew Brees? Damn.
I really think that he just playing because he feels like he still has something to prove. It's like that ego and that chip on his shoulder is so big that he can't get away from the game because he feels like, no, I still have something to prove. I'm still like this good. I'm gonna prove the Packers wrong by going to the Jets and making something out of the Jets. And it's like his ego and everything won't allow him to quit. It just won't. And unfortunately, if he keeps playing like this and getting hit behind that offensive line, his body is going to tell him, hey, sit your ass down. So I don't know. But looking at next week, the games, I mean, we kind of talked about the Thursday night ass water bowl of the Broncos and the Saints. But
ass water bowl is funny.
I'm looking. I mean, that Monday night matchup is probably going to be one of the games of the week with Baltimore and Tampa.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
But I'm also looking forward to that Kansas City San Francisco game, the 325 game in my time zone this week. And strangely enough, that Jets Steelers game on Sunday night, it has a chance to be good. I really think that has a chance to be a good game because supposedly Devontae is going to play this weekend. Supposedly. But to me, even if the Jets didn't make this trade, I would still be interested in that game for a couple of reasons. Number one, just to see what the Jets are doing this season. Number two, because Russ, like you said earlier, is starting instead of Fields in that game on Sunday night. So I'm really looking forward to that one and to see how that one goes. The Lions-Vikings game is going to be probably the best 12 o'clock game on Sunday, I'm thinking, because all the rest of them look like trash. So I'm probably going to be keyed in on that one. Well, the Texans and Packers, I'm sorry. Texans-Packers, I think, has a chance to be a really, really good 12 o'clock game also. So it's going to be Texans-Packers and Lions-Vikings. Going to be the two 12 o'clock games I'm going to pay attention to. That Kansas City San Francisco game is going to be the 3 o'clock 3:30 game I'm gonna watch.
That's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how Brock Purdy does when you got Chris Jones just like blowing up the pocket from all different angles. You know, I'll be interested to see what he's gonna look like especially given that CMC is still out and they're having a piecemeal a running game together. So it's like you don't have that threat of that run any longer like you used to. So you got to manufacture a run game, basically, using multiple backs and whatnot, Debo and this and that. So, but I'm still thinking that has the potential to be a really good game. I think they got the over and under right now. I'm looking at it on ESPN Bet. Their line has it at 46.5. So it might be kind of high scoring a little bit, but not too crazy.
I think we touched on that a little bit last week, Dre. I'm in agreement. I definitely think Aaron forced out Salah. I think Salah getting fired was totally Aaron's fault. Nobody else's but his. I think Salah was a great coach. I just think the players weren't playing. It ain't had nothing to do with him. It could have been coordinators. I think that was our. I think anytime you have a quarterback in the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, when you have a Brady, when you have a Peyton Manning, we see it in the NBA with LeBron, Kobe. You always Melo. I'm trying to think of Iverson, Jordan, of course. Even though Jordan didn't switch head coaches like that, like these players are in on the conversations. Whenever there's a change, whether it's players being brought in, anything, they're in the room. Whether the media knows about it or not, they're consulted on this. Like, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. What do you think? Or it's them voicing it to the owner, like, hey, they I'm sure Aaron Rodgers has dinner with the Jets owner, or they go out for drink, whatever, where they have conversations, and Aaron is like, hey man, Robert gotta go. Robert gotta go. Because Robert was gonna go to OC.
What I've seen,
Aaron went to talk to, because Aaron brought in the OC. If y'all remember, that wasn't. I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't have to hire him. But once you bring in Aaron, it's like, all right, what do we need to do to make you comfortable, to help you win, to get you where you need to be? He said, I need my OC. That wasn't a Salah hire. That was an owner hire.
You know what's really funny? Salah took the play calling duties away from Hackett, and then they made Buddy the head coach. He took the play calling duties away from Hackett.
So at the end of the day,
bro, it was so funny, bro. And remember, I said, I was like, I want to see if he really going to do this. I think I tweeted that on the account of something. I was like, I want to see if he still takes the play calling duties away from Hackett, and he did. And it was funny as hell to me, because I was just like, hey, that just goes to show you, bro. Like, dude was like, nah, you messing up. You got to go. And they ended up, how many points did they end up scoring? Damn, I can't find it. Anyway, but yeah, there it goes. They end up scoring 20 points. And I want to say that was like one of the only times this season that they've scored 20 points. No, they scored 24 against the Titans and 24 against the Patriots. So it's the third time this season that they scored more than 20. But that team is going to be real interesting to watch coming into this game against the Steelers, and then especially going against that kind of defense, and then you have this new toy to play with on offense. It's really going to be interesting to watch. But I don't know. We're going to see. Another kind of this week, really, in college football was kind of calm compared to last week.
Yeah, I don't think it was any. Let me check the. I don't think it was like any upsets. I think everybody that won.
It was a pretty normal Saturday. Like, it wasn't like the Oregon Ohio State game was crazy.
That was definitely crazy.
That was a wild game.
Let's see. Tennessee beat Oregon tonight. I mean, Tennessee beat Florida tonight. Let me go back. Vandy beat. Nope, that was last week. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm looking at last week's game right now. There wasn't anything that like really like stuck out to me that was like a big upset or anything like that.
Nah, Missouri beat UMass. Clemson beat Wake Forest. Bama beat South Carolina by 2. That was crazy because South Carolina actually pushed them.
They
to
did.
the edge.
That was a
Bama
good game.
Yeah, Bama only winning by 2. Wasn't surprising if you've been watching South Carolina all year. Texas blew out Oklahoma. Pittsburgh barely beat Cal. Illinois barely beat Purdue. Penn State with a close win over USC. Everybody else was pretty normal. LSU beat Ole Miss by 3. Again, another very close game.
Oh, that game was insane. LSU got the lead when they kicked that field goal to win the game. That was when they got the lead.
Kansas State and Colorado was very close. Good game also. They came down.
Yeah. Bro, wait. And this is why Shedeur needs to still be in the Heisman talk, because he had the kind of game that he had with 388 yards. And he was without his top like 3 receivers for most of, if not all of that game.
So at what point do win-losses count with the Heisman?
Win-losses do factor in, but I'm just saying when you putting up certain kind of numbers, I mean, I put it to you like this. I want to say LSU was 9-4 or 8-5 last year. Jay Daniels won the Heisman. So to me, it's more about like what are you putting up? Like, how are you going about, doing what you're doing? And if you're doing it against high level of competition, then yeah. I'm sorry, they ended the season 10-3. They were 9-3 after the regular season. But I don't know. We've only seen in the history of the award one person. It was like 1947 or 1930 something or whatever. He won it on a losing team. Traditionally, it's given to lately it's been the best quarterback on one of, if not the best team that has traditionally the award.
I was watching New Heights this morning, and they had Pat McAfee on the newest episode, and he asked a question. They were talking about the Heisman race and everything. Do you think a non-quarterback can win the Heisman this year? Or in general, is it because it's rare that we see like every few years we get a running back. I don't know when the last time we had a wide receiver. It's been ages since we had a defensive player.
Honestly, man, I'm gonna say Travis Hunter has a chance to do it, but
I think him and Genty. I think Genty, the way Genty's playing right now, I think Genty has a great case.
When I just last looked, last week he was a plus 225 favorite. This last like couple days ago, I think is when I looked, he's plus 160. So his odds are like dipping. He's almost like a negative number favorite right now. Like that's how much that kid is balling out and is probably gonna, end up winning it if he keeps playing the way he's playing. But I think the 3 favorites were Genty, Dylan Gabriel at the quarterback at Oregon, and I can't remember who was the other one. It may have been Travis Hunter. But, remember when we thought Cam Ward was, a shoe-in? I think Cam was at that time when I had looked not too long ago. He was like 4th or 5th, maybe.
I still think Cam has a case. Stats undefeated. I think other factors have to go in because, like I said, I like Genty. I think for me, it's between him and Genty. I like what Travis is doing on both sides of the ball. We haven't seen it, and I don't think we've ever seen that,
bro. Every time he does something, it either hasn't been done or hasn't been done in years. So, but
I like Travis and Genty. I have Shedeur like 4th. and I definitely got Travis, Genty, and Cam ahead of him. I just really like watching Cam play and what Cam has been doing. Even with the interceptions in the first half, it's the second half, the way he's composed and he's bringing the team back and like game-winning drives. I think a lot of that, even though that's a lot of stuff scouts are looking at as far as going into the draft, I think that's huge just in the Heisman, because you're looking at like somebody who, and of course, level of play is always that, right? Because he plays in the ACC. You know, he's not playing the same competition that Shador is seeing. And honestly, I think he is, because the Big 12 really ain't, they don't have any heavy hitters this year. Like, the best team is probably them or Oklahoma, maybe Nebraska, I would say.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say about the way things have been going, I feel like it's still really open, but it's like I was saying when we were looking at the rankings and stuff. I was just like, Miami, unfortunately, the ACC has been down this year, and they don't have any like huge games on their schedule anywhere.
The next one is Louisville. That's the biggest.
Yeah, so it's like unfortunately they're gonna have to like Cam Moore's gonna have to like put up stupid numbers and blow everybody out the rest of the way in order to be like, hey, I'm here too.
And I agree with you, Dre. Genty's the same, playing in the Mountain West. I think he should have left Boise as far as, but I get why he stayed too, because in a sense he's gonna get the stats and numbers being at Boise.
Well, the other thing is that team is built around him.
Yeah,
they built. It's not like he's a talented guy that went to a team that fit him in. They basically, the way it looks, they built that team to be run around him and what he does. And sometimes I think that he just felt a comfortability there. You know, I mean, some people may look at it like, man, you could have went and made more NIL money somewhere else, or you could have did this, or you could have did that. But it's like, okay, well, is that other team going to be built around me and my talent and my abilities and giving me the ball, 20, 30 times a game? So that's the only thing that I could think of, is that's what drove his decision home. Is like, hey, this team is built around me already, and I'm comfortable here. I'm gonna just stay here.
Right.
And like you said, add to it, like, okay, I know the level of competition that I'm going to play too. I could really shine and still, pop my shit and get a good contract and get drafted at a decent spot going to the league. So he said he stayed out of loyalty to the program and the coaches. And that says a lot about a guy's character. And that's one of the things that gets factored in when you interviewing a kid during that draft process.
Because you're looking at somebody with loyalty that wants to be a lifer with your team, not somebody who's ready for their second contract somewhere else already. Because I mean, when you get drafted high, you're going to an ass team, unless somebody trades up or something like that. You're always going to a pretty ass team. So
right, or you just so happen to be drafted by a team that had like a major injury or some setback or something last year, and they're going to be good.
They just happen to this year just be ass.
Right.
We've seen that happen a lot of times too, where a team should win and they don't, because they have hella injuries, so their draft number is a lot higher than it should be. So, what do we got on slate for this weekend, college wise? We got, let's see, what's the game to watch? The Miami Louisville game is this weekend, of course. We got Oregon, Purdue, Auburn, Missouri. That should be good. Nebraska, Indiana is an interesting game. Mostly because of if I'm saying his name right, is it Raiola? Right, Raiola. I like him. I like little Mahomes Jr.
Great value Mahomes.
Great value Mahomes. I like him. I think that game actually might be a very interesting game on Saturday. Alabama, Tennessee is going to be one of those games. Number 7 Alabama, 11 Tennessee. That is going to be a game to watch at 3:30. Well, 3:30 East. because Tennessee can beat Alabama. Tennessee is good. They are very good. You got Michigan, Illinois this weekend. Number 24, Michigan. Number 22, Illinois. I'm actually shocked Michigan is 24, but I'm not. When you add in those Pac-12 teams, I said that division and even the SEC is going to be so crazy the next couple of years. You're not going to see the dominance of undefeated teams like you did before.
No, I think
you're at least going to get a lot of one-loss teams, which is still dominant in a sense, but and because of this playoff thing, it's going to shake things up a lot. Notre Dame against Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, LSU got Arkansas, and then we have
game of the week,
Georgia versus Texas.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I mean, it's a couple. It's 3 other games that day. Also, I don't want to discredit them. Kansas State, West Virginia, UCF, Iowa State, SMU, Stanford close out tonight. But that Georgia Texas game is the game of the season. Number 1 Texas against number 5 Georgia. It's gonna be crazy.
In Austin.
I got
tickets as low as $175 for that game.
It's not bad. That is not bad though. For a college
not, bro.
Not
for that. The 1 versus 5.
Yeah, I would expect it to be a lot higher.
I thought it would too.
I think Ewers actually has to play the game of his life more than Beck. One, Archie's breathing down his neck, kind of. Mm-hmm. But I even think with 1 loss, I think it's still his job, even if they do lose. Because again, the SEC is so stacked. I think Texas, Georgia, and Alabama are the 3 best in the SEC. But within that, I had them beating each other. You know, in a sense, I still didn't think anybody would be undefeated. Because Georgia beat Bama. Georgia beats Texas. Hold on. I forgot how I had it in my mind because I don't think Bama plays Texas, right?
Hold up, let me look it up right now.
I was about to do the same thing. Texas schedule.
No.
Okay, so Texas win this. They pretty clear from what it looked like. They don't really have a tough game. Texas A&M to finish the season out. They got Vandy next week, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, and then Texas A&M. Let me look at Georgia. I don't think Georgia has okay, so no, Bama did beat Georgia because Georgia has 1 loss. Bama beat Georgia. If Georgia beats Texas, it evens everything out. Because Bama has
but this is what you know what's throwing it off is that Bama lost to Vandy.
And them having 2 losses, but
because you had it. I remember we were talking about it offline, and you had it spelled out perfectly to create the perfect chaos in the SEC.
And it still could because everybody still would have 1 loss because Texas doesn't play Bama. If Georgia beats Texas this weekend, it creates like a even playing field across the SEC. So, and I still think the same thing can happen in the Big Ten. I do not see the only team in that top like 7. I still think that can go undefeated is going to be Miami. Again, this Louisville game is the test for them in a sense. Louisville is probably the one team that can beat them. But if they get past Louisville, they also smooth sailing for the rest of the season, in my opinion. But yeah, and it's not bad that it's going to be a 1-loss team in those 2 big conferences because again, they've added so much. As far as teams coming in.
If I'm looking at like let's say the top 15, right? And I'm cutting it off at 15 because Indiana is ranked 16th in the AP and they're undefeated. And I don't think Indiana's going undefeated.
Nah.
But we're looking at BYU, Iowa State, Miami, Penn State, Oregon, Texas. Those are the undefeated teams in the top 15 right now, according to the AP top 25.
Big Ten standings. Here we go.
Honestly, I think Miami has the best chance to go undefeated out of all those teams.
Right.
Because like you just laid out perfectly, the SEC is a minefield.
Because right now in the Big Ten, Indiana, Oregon, and Penn State are all undefeated right now. Everybody else, at least the top ones, have one loss. Illinois, Ohio State, and Nebraska all have one loss. Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin all have two, and then everybody else has three. Rutgers is 4-2, but ain't nobody check for Rutgers. But yeah, I still, even with that, I still say Indiana, Penn State, possibly Oregon could continue. Let me look at what they got left. Their toughest game that they could give up if they're not paying attention could be Michigan. They have Illinois
at Michigan.
Yeah, Illinois is ranked 22. They got them. Their next games is Purdue, Illinois, Michigan at Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and then they finish the season with Washington. Michigan could upset them. But I love the way Oregon's playing, but
I also think that Washington game can be tricky because those rivalry games at the end of the season.
What
if Washington's playing for bowl eligibility? Because right now Washington's 4-3.
And then Penn State has a tough game, not next weekend, but the weekend after.
They got that Ohio State game.
Yes, which Ohio State could beat them, and then now Penn State has one loss. After that, again, the Washington game is probably their toughest one after that. And looking at Indiana, Indiana has Michigan left. It's in Indiana. They also have Ohio State left at Ohio State. So they got two where those two could be back-to-back losses in a sense. So
all right, I'm looking at Iowa State right now. Iowa State's got UCF. They're always going to play hard. That could be a loss, even though it's in Ames.
I didn't know Pittsburgh was undefeated right now.
Yep. The Kansas State game at the end of the season, even though Kansas State is coming to Ames, it seems like their toughest games are going to be all home games except for that Utah game. That Utah game could be tricky
for BYU. Oh, for Iowa State.
I would say BYU. The same thing. Utah game could be tricky for them also.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only one I would really see.
Maybe that Central Florida game because it's traveling. West to east isn't that bad of a travel, but going from Utah to freaking Orlando or whatever, that's a long flight.
No, it definitely is.
So those two could be tricky for them, I'm thinking. And then you got Miami, and we looked at Miami's schedule already, and we pretty much think Miami, they can run the table. They just don't need to slip up anyway.
I mean, they got Louisville
game this week. Like,
I don't think Florida State makes any noise with them or Duke. Georgia Tech, maybe. Syracuse has been playing really good this season also. So
they really have.
So
yeah, Syracuse is actually 5-1 right now.
And improve. They can hang with the conference. Ewers is fighting to prove he can be the guy at the next level. Georgia is fighting to prove they still run the SEC. I love that. I love that. I think you're exactly right. Texas is definitely fighting to say, hey, the Big 12 came in and we made some noise. Y'all didn't think we could, but we're hanging with the big dogs in a sense.
Oh. What's up, Mika?
Excuse me, my voice. Wow, that was high pitched as a bitch. That's crazy.
Yeah. I thought she was gonna be like chilling us up. I didn't think she was gonna be able to come through.
Dre, I see you're gone. Probably already gone, but you're right.
I figured he was
get here quick, don't it?
Because if he's not overnighting it's early morning. So I'm like, he about to dip.
Dre, we just talked about that right before we kind of ran down who could go undefeated.
Yeah,
I think it is tough right now. Not even going over the odds and stuff. I just think off of the eye test, it's hard to tell. Shedeur is playing amazing. I like what Travis is doing on both sides of the ball. Genty looks amazing, and Cam is playing lights out. So
it's really,
and there's a couple
wild.
others that are thrown in there too.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback from Oregon, and Genty, the running back. Like there's at least 4 or 5 guys right now that we're almost halfway through the season that could probably win the Heisman as of right now. 4 or 5, I would say legit, and you won't get a huge argument from anybody because you can always present a case on either one of these 4 or 5 guys. So it's pretty good. But I think just me looking at the schedules and stuff and what everybody has left, I think Miami is the top team that's still undefeated that has a chance to stay undefeated because everybody else plays in a tough conference and they got tough conference games left, except for Miami. Even Iowa State and BYU, they got a couple of games that could trip them up possibly. If Miami can get past Louisville this week, they shouldn't have a problem with the rest of their schedule. So that's kind of where I'm going to hang my hat at.
Same. Still going to be an interesting playoff tournament because, to be honest, as long as you're in, the way I look at it now, I mean, everybody wants to go undefeated or have that first round bye, being number 1 and number 2. But to be honest, it's just about making the tournament now. Like, long as you fall in that 12, it's going to be that 8 through 12 where it's really, I think the top 7 might be solidified unless there's hella 1-loss teams. I think maybe the 7 through 12 or maybe 6 through 12 might be where it's a little murky. Because you got some 2-loss, because like you said, conference schedule, all of that's going to play a factor, right? So you're going to have, like, you can have a BYU be undefeated, but people are going to look at that schedule like that's still going to be that factor that comes in. But I'm interested. First year of the tournament, it's not gonna be perfect. And again, when you load up those 2 big conferences like that, if everybody is to at least lose 1 game, that creates so much because you still got conference championship games that could balance that back out. Because if teams are going into the conference championship 1-1, whoever loses could be out of the 12. They honestly could possibly, depending on how the game goes, slide out of that top 12, and somebody else that's on the outside in that 13-14 could slide in. So it's going to be very interesting this year, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man, I don't know. I'm just ready to see how it's gonna land as far as like the top 4 who get the bye as the conference champs, the top 4 conference champs, and then how they, how the next 8 fall. To me, it's always been interesting to see how they come over that kind of stuff, and they have a formula and they have everything like laid out for it and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I'm just, who knows, bro? I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I was mad that they waited all this time to expand the playoffs, and then when they did, they expanded from 4 to 12. Like, could y'all just gradually? Could y'all like do 6, then 8, maybe, and then like, can we just see how it works in between? No, all gas, no brakes. 4, 12, boom. We doing it. Like, so, I mean, it's gonna give a lot more people a lot more opportunities. However, I still think that I would take this over what we've had previously.
Yeah.
I'll still take this over what we've had previously. So the 14 playoff was dope to me because it created this exclusivity in that top 4, and it really made you focus in on you have to win every game. I think with this 12 team system, you still have that focus of winning every game because it does mean something because you want to be one of those top 4 conference champions. However, you still give yourself a shot if you stumble here and there throughout the season. So there's always that. looking at everything else, man. It's interesting. I'll say that we were talking about like the lines and stuff for the games, over and unders, the this and that, so on and so forth, right? Um, it's been 10 years since NBA Commissioner Adam Silver wrote that op-ed letter. I believe it was in the New York Times, calling for gambling change.
Mm.
And the quote that the ESPN article opened with was from that article. It says, betting on professional sports is currently illegal in most of the United States outside of Nevada. I believe we need a different approach. And it's coming up on the 10th anniversary of him writing that story. And if you think about it, between that point in history, that point in time right there, and now, we've gone from it being this taboo thing where you have to have all these back channel websites, and websites actually have to have their servers hosted in foreign countries in order for them to circumvent the laws in the United States about online gambling and whatnot. Now it's just like, hey, whatever, do what you do. And it's pretty wide open to the point where I believe the article goes on to say the league has around, the NBA has around 20 different sponsors or deals with different gambling companies or gambling entities or what have you. So we've gone from it being like this really taboo, almost forbidden kind of thing to like everybody does it now. Everybody uses it. Hell, even ESPN now has their own bookmaker betting service or whatever, where they outlines and stuff like that. And you don't have to pull up a separate website or a separate page or anything to see an over and under, a game total, or prop bets and stuff like that. You can go right there on ESPN's own website and pull it up. So shout out to Adam Silver for that, man. I just wanted to acknowledge that, because that's been a huge thing in the sports world, is the sports gambling and betting and whatnot. And whether people want to recognize it or not, it does make everything a hell of a lot more interesting when you got some money riding on it.
Nah, it definitely does. You're looking at it more from a better standpoint now, and more of a fan of the game itself than you looking at it as like just a fan of your team. Because now you might have playing fantasy like we've been doing, but even with doing like parlays, and you might be doing player parlays, you're looking at the other team now like, yeah, our defense kind of weak. He might eat against our defense. You know what I mean? So you're looking at it from a totally different standpoint now.
I'll put it to you like this, man. It was funny when we were doing the fantasy football draft, and y'all was trying to feel like, what is Mika and Maddie doing? Like, drafting these players. And it's like, wait a minute, they taking some good players. Like, hold up.
Right.
And it's like their strategy is like, they're female, so they're gonna think a little bit differently from us anyway. But like they had their own little strategy and reasoning behind doing things, and I understood it. Once I listened, I was like, you know what, that makes sense. I get it. And it's like there's so many more resources at your fingertips now than there were before. And it's so much easier to pull from those resources to place these bets and whatnot. Now that all this kind of stuff is readily available, and this is why we're glad we have Inplay dogs as a part of the group here. And because some of their analytics and statistics and whatnot, that could really be helpful to some sports bettors and whatnot. So just encouraged and really happy that Adam Silver took a stand and was like, no, I run the NBA, I'm the commissioner, and I see where this is going. I see where this is headed, and I think we just need to go ahead and ride the wave and all head in that direction, but do so in a manner in which we keep the integrity of the game intact.
Right.
And coming from a league commissioner who had an actual active referee that, you know, talked about fixing games and different stuff like that. Like, he went from the whole Tim Donaghy saga to saying, yes, no, I'm standing behind this. Like, I said what I said. Yes, this happened. And yes, we had to get past and beyond this. But also,
let's get in front of it.
Exactly. Thank you. Let's just get in front of it, you know? And props to him for doing that. And it was kind of shocking at that point in time, to be honest with you, because the NBA season was about to kick off and everything, and you know, there had been all this gambling talk and everything all the time. But for him to come out and say that and bring that to the forefront, that was pretty dope. So props to Adam Silver for that. NBA season is about to get underway, and I'll put it to you like this: we're not about to dive too deep into it, but is there a storyline
next week?
I'll run them together. Just preliminary. Is there a storyline in the NBA and or in college basketball that you're most looking forward to this upcoming season?
College basketball is just watching Duke, seeing how they play together with these them having a top recruiting class, seeing how they gel and mesh together. A lot of freshmen. NBA, I mean, of course, from what I've read, and the news was broken. So Bronny's gonna start opening night. Probably won't see a lot of minutes, but he's gonna at least start opening night, you know, so that way him and Bron can, you know, make history again and officially be the first father-son duo to start an NBA game, then start an opening night NBA game. They're about to break like all these whatever. Then they can sit his ass on the bench. Fuck. That's the shit I'm over. But I'm glad Lonzo's back. Dre alluded to earlier. I watched a little bit of him getting in the game. First shot, 3-pointer, sunk it. I'm very happy for him. I want to see how he does this season. Even though the Bulls are going to be ass because they've pretty much. Well, I'm not going to say ass. I need to see how this Zach LaVine thing goes. If they actually make the move to trade him, and what they get back for him if they do make this trade with the Kings. From what I've been reading. But even without it, I'm interested in seeing, you know, just happy that he's able to get back on the court after, you know, the injuries that he had that they didn't think he would ever play again. So
definitely.
I like them a lot. Everybody made good moves this off. Well, not everybody, but a lot of teams made really great moves. I love the Philly move up until the other night. The Knicks made some waves this offseason,
bruh.
And I think the Knicks have positioned themselves to look at Boston like, hey, what's up? What's up?
Let me tell you something. That Knicks team is going to be really fun to watch.
Oh, it is.
They are going to be really fun to watch. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Philly looks like this year also, because Embiid already came out and said he's probably not going to play back-to-backs for the rest of his career. Now, the people are up in arms about that and have an issue with that, but I'm going to say self-preservation is key because the guy is, 7 foot, 7'1". He weighs like 280, 85 pounds. He's a huge dude. Like, this is a big guy. And we all know big men have trouble with knees, ankles, feet. You know, their lower half, like their legs and feet, knees, and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's always been an issue for big men. So him not playing those back-to-backs, if that's going to allow him to play 60 to 65 games a year at peak condition, I would rather have, you know, let's say 85.
That's still good in the East, though. Like, if a lot of those 65 are wins, like, that's...
Bro, I would take 80 to 100% Embiid over 60 games than to take 75% or less of Embiid over 70 to 75 games.
Right. So
I mean, it just makes more sense. It just makes way more sense. What's up, Sierra? Thank you for joining us. Fashionably late, she says. Hey, better late than never.
Right.
Little
right.
shot.
I'm trying to think who in the West made some moves. I want to see how Russ with Denver was a great move.
Yeah.
I love that. Again, Sacramento, I like what they did. That might be it. Clippers aren't going to make any waves. I want to see how OKC does this year. We got Ja back. We got Ja back, baby.
Hey, is he healthy again? Because remember, he had sprained his ankle or whatever the other night.
I know he sat out tonight. I like how they look with Edie too. And remember, I told you when Edie got drafted, I said that was perfect for him. Going to Memphis. Who else? San Antonio. I'm interested in that Chris Paul move, which was super smart for them. Getting a veteran point guard that can help run that offense. Just interested in how many games he's going to actually play this season, how healthy he's going to be. Yeah. Orlando, another year with their team, seeing if they can get over that hump.
Did you see, real quick, just to go back to that San Antonio thing, did you see the pick and roll with CP3 and Wemby?
I did not. But I know it was. I was gonna say I know it was nasty though.
It's nasty.
I can only imagine.
But yeah,
that's gonna be. But he's good in that now because now he's at that age where he can really facilitate that pick and roll for real.
Bro, the biggest
only thing about Chris Paul is he slows down your offense because he don't move like
he can't move like he used to. He really can't. But the difference is when you have a veteran point guard like that running that pick and roll, the thing that those veteran point guards know is the timing and spacing of the pick and roll. And timing and spacing on the pick and roll is like the best thing I can kind of compare it to is like a linebacker that's not that athletic or older or getting up there in age. What up, House?
My dog, what up, boy?
They know the play and they know like those veteran like DBs and linebackers that can react to a play because their football IQ is so high. They may lose some of that speed and athleticism and whatnot, but you know what? I know where you're going and I know where you're trying to go and I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to get there before you do because I'm smarter than you. It's the same thing when you have older point guards and whatnot, man. It's the exact same thing. And I used to see John Stockton in like his 15, 16, 17, 18 season running it to perfection.
Especially John, because John was still pretty fast at the end. I think CP3 slowed down because of the injuries, like the knee injuries and stuff like that. Because you can even tell when he just walking, like his normal walk looked like it hurt. So
he always had like a kind of a waddle, almost of a walk to him, but
now he really got that basketball walk.
It looks labored, it looks like he's like really forcing it,
Like I know you still get that walk every once in a while. It's that
hell yeah.
I know I do. It's the Hooper's walk, man. I want to talk about that kid who got drafted from NC State. Well, not talk. Just want to put my 2 cents in there. He's lost a lot of weight. It's going to be a problem. Who drafted? Who did he get drafted by?
Shit, I just saw.
Yeah, he's definitely Zebo 2.0. If he lost, because I still thought he should have went the football route. Because he's under DJ. Cleveland. That's a good spot for him.
What you call it?
Did you see
Kevin Garnett was talking to Zebo on their podcast, and they spoke about it. Yeah, and that was the clip that I saw earlier. And
DJ Burns, yep, that's what it is.
DJ Burns, there we go. And
I like the way Amani Bates looked too. You saw that muscle
he gained weight, bro.
He gained muscle weight. I like it,
bro.
Pause. But bro looks
good. Weight. They showed the side by side of the two different media day picks from last year and from this
Uh-huh.
year.
And he
And
went from like
I was like, bruh,
this to this, like, or
yeah.
there you go.
And working is one of those things that a lot of basketball players, especially the younger guys, because they come in the league so young and so underdeveloped physically most of the time.
Especially now.
Yeah, that they need to really develop their bodies physically and kind of grow into it. And I love when I see the young guys like really take it seriously, you know, and they really like, you know, push themselves to work on their bodies and work on their games at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's good to see. Y'all been watching preseason basketball often. Reeves added some muscle.
He did. He did. I did pay attention to that. I think Austin's going to hit another gear this year also.
Yeah. And guys like that, I really love seeing because you start to see the layers that they're adding on their game. And one of them that I wanted to make sure I brought up, because I know you brought it up earlier, talking about seeing Orlando this year. A clip I saw from Paolo Banchero recently. He was talking about like his different motivations and guys that inspired him and whatnot. And one of those guys he talked about was Melo. And he said, you know, just looking at hours and hours of film and this and that, you know, he was definitely one of the guys that influenced me and whatnot. And I never thought about it until after he said that. And then I went back and watched some clips of him. One of the things that you can tell is when Melo does that ball sweep jab step, and he hit you with that one dribble, quick, real little pull up or whatever. Yes, bro. Watch Paolo Banchero the next time you see him play. He can go into his bag with a couple.
I've been watching, and you know I've been telling you I've been watching Kyan, and you can tell Kyan's starting to really benefit from working with his dad, but also he's watching that film, and he's really been working on that himself.
Yes.
Man,
I love seeing the young kids in basketball when they get into their bag by watching film and whatnot. I know a kid here, Cameron Newsom. He's a guard. He's a film junkie, bro. Like he film junkies. And I hear about these kids that are like that, and they all about ball. Yeah, all they want to do. And you think like, how can they really be like, no, like they're on their phone looking at YouTube videos about it, and then they're studying this, and it's like,
you know what it reminds me of though, and I don't know if y'all were like this as kids in New Orleans. So like, all of us when we were younger, if we played ball, we lived ball, right? If you didn't play nothing else but basketball during the off season, you was at the courts outside playing with the older kids. It was, you know what I mean? I was really on a Saturday. If I didn't have AAU or something, I was at the court, especially on Sunday. So around here it's always been Sundays around here, or like hoop days. Till even during football season, it's early morning hoop, then football, then you back at the crib watching football. Unless you didn't really care about the 1 o'clock games, then you know you might still be hooping. But the one thing that we all used to do is that, like, so for us, it was the AN1 mixtapes. We used to be in the crib studying the AN1 mixtapes. My mom used to hate it because I'm in the crib bouncing the ball. I'm like in front of the TV. I'm dribbling on carpet. I ain't even dribbling on hard. Like, we lived in the hood, but we had carpet. Like, we were in the upper hood. But like I'm in front of the TV dribbling on carpet. I'm trying to do hot sauce moves. I'm rolling, coming back up. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what that was for us though. Like, in a sense, we were film junkies just in a different way. Yeah. Because we didn't have YouTube. Like, I know my generation probably was the beginning of YouTube. Yeah. Around mine was like the beginning of YouTube, but even then, it really wasn't extensive like it is now. Like these kids have YouTube now where they can even go back and watch like not hot sauce. Oh my god, is that a catchphrase? Is that a slight catchphrase?
That's a half a catchphrase. That's
half a catchphrase. No, I'm not gonna lie, I really wore out them. I still got like a bunch of the DVDs here. The only thing is I don't have a DVD player. I be wanting, Jackson's not. He's getting interested in basketball. Like this would be his.
I still got one.
Oh, I got a bunch of. I still got the VHS tapes. I just don't have like
those. I don't have. I still got a DVD player. Some of the DVD. Well, I have DVDs. I don't know if I have the AND1 DVDs anymore, but
I don't have the early ones. So the early AND1 joints, I still got some of the VHSs. I got like 1 and 2, and I think 3, and then of the DVDs, it's more of the ESPN stuff, which was a lot watered down. They weren't the same. But,
yeah.
See, that's the ones I got to tour because I love. Right, Seahawks not that ESPN shit. I hated the ESPN shit.
Sierra knows ball.
She knows ball. We got to figure out. We gonna have to get you off on a Wednesday night. We got to tell you request a Wednesday off. I say,
bro,
surprising me.
I tried.
She got to get you off on a Wednesday.
Said no. I don't watch sports. Like, come on, man. You know sports.
It's not about it's not even about watching because this part of our conversation, which is at the end of the show, even if we send you the link for the end of the show and you pop in after we didn't got through the current stuff, it's this when we start talking about the nostalgia stuff like we do.
Yes.
Like that's where you come in. That's your that's where you. Oh, you took a vacation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Look at that.
Just saying.
Look at that. Look at God.
You can still like be a homebody, but on the pod.
Right.
I'm just saying. But yeah, man, like.
That's the same. Like what they do now is what we were doing. I was watching. So today, again, I've been sick, guys. So I've been in the house all day watching stuff, catching up on a lot of my podcasts that I haven't been able to watch and TV shows. But I was watching 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, and I was watching the Rich Paul episode, the latest one. I watched that right after I watched New Heights. I like watching other people's podcasts, mostly to help us, but also like just like it just be interesting. I don't really watch ESPN like I used to as far as First Take and stuff because now I'm getting to the point, and we talked about this, where I don't want to dilute my what I think and what I feel with what they say. It's good to quote some of the stuff and then use that as a talking piece, but I don't want that to be like I'm starting to think like they think. But Rich Paul was talking about players' kids, right? And because the conversation started with Bronny, of course. But then they were going into Key'n, and he was talking about how like Key'n is gonna be amazing. He's gonna be great, like I've said too. And the thing about Key'n that's gonna hurt him, right? Let's say, and this is kind of what Rich was saying. Let's say Key'n decides he's gonna go to Syracuse, right? As great as Key'n is in his class, people are gonna compare him to Melo because he decided to go to Syracuse, and it sucks.
The comparison is always going to be there because that's his dad. It's going to be magnified
because of the media, social media, and the part about it that sucks that a lot of people are not going to pay attention to. Like Rich said, Melo has so many factors that made him into who he was at Syracuse. It wasn't just him; it was the team he had around him, the coaching. It was so many pieces. Yeah.
Team Ward,
like
McNamara and Ward helped Melo become who he was. It was
and with Key'n,
it was like 1 or 2 other guys I remember on that.
Like
team.
He had a couple juniors and seniors that were like,
he
added to that
and freshmen on that team. Yeah, another freshman, like they had a badass squad.
I think Key'n going to Syracuse is more like, I'm just following my dad's footsteps, but if he can bring in some of his guys with him, with what they got, it might. But I'm like, I think you got to look at it like look at Bronny. Bronny's going through it now. People are gonna compare Bronny to LeBron, even though we all know Bronny's not the one we need to compare. It's Bryce.
Right.
It's when Bryce get there. Bryce is the one we need to compare because like I'm excited for Bryce. I'm excited for Bronny. I'm happy for Bronny because of what he went through health-wise. I do still think he should have stayed another year in college, whether he stayed at USC or went somewhere else. I think he really could have benefited from another year. But like we see it when we work a job, it's nothing like on the job training, right? I mean, I can say it now. I still hate it that we drafted him, right? But it's nothing better than on job training. So like that's the test for him to get better. And he's with his dad every day. You got AD. I've been watching the practice stuff. He looks great in practice, but we all look great in practice. We've seen NFL players look amazing in practice, and then they get into the game, and it's like so. But yeah, it's just interesting because like players' kids are always compared. You don't hear too much about a lot of them now. Like you don't hear too much about Kenyon Martin Jr. I think the last one that we really heard about was Tim Hardaway Jr. He was talked about a lot.
And
Everybody else.
If we being all the way honest with it, 100. Senior was a bad boy, and he had that killer crossover. But Junior was taller, more athletic,
better shot,
and better on defense.
Yeah.
So Senior just was a great, one of the great players that came up in a time when it was, run and gun score, and they brought that style of basketball out in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And they spearheaded the style that we see now with teams, that philosophy: threes, freeze, and layups. That's all they want: threes, freeze, and layups. No mid-range jumpers and whatnot. I remember those Golden State teams when Don Nelson employed that run and gun style. I want to say he got that from either Doug Moe or one of the other old school coaches that he played or coached under. But anyway, they would have a concept where they didn't want the ball to touch the floor going up the court, and you wanted to get a shot off in like 12 seconds or less or something crazy like that. But it was always push the ball, pedal to the metal, keep it going. And I love that style of basketball, and we finally saw it come back, within the last decade or so, plus with the Golden State Warriors and whatnot. So I'm loving where the game of basketball is going because the big man has not died, contrary to popular belief. The bigs have just done different things and expanded their skill sets.
Right. They've evolved.
But I love seeing traditional quote unquote bigs like Joker and Embiid, but they also have a modern game to them. So I love seeing this because there's different kinds of bigs. And one thing that I like and I hate about the way they've done NBA 2K when you do a my player and you have to have certain molds and there's only certain players can only have certain attributes and whatnot. But if you think about it, that's kind of the way the game is. They don't pigeonhole everybody the way NBA 2K does, but you have all these different players with different types of roles that aren't very traditional. So,
well, the one thing about 2K is, it's just putting different things together to make your player, whether you got a big or a center, or a big or a forward or a guard. It everything factors in when you go height, when you go weight, when you go arm length. I love that because that gives you different styles of players. I made one guy, they gave me like one of my guards is like, I think one of his attributes or players that he was compared to was like one was like Nate Archibald, and it won't because of the height. I forgot why it was. I had Pistol Pete, and then it was somebody else. Like they'll give you like some wild people that it compares it to, and I'll be like
a template or something.
Yeah. So y'all are having a crazy street ball conversation, and I wanted to jump in because I actually remember that MTV show. It was like they were living in a house.
Let me scroll back up. Yeah. I
can't remember the name of
it. I kind of remember it, but yeah, the shit was wild, bro. Like
it was like a street ball joint, and it was like New York versus DC, and they had Atlanta, they had LA, Chicago. They had people from like all over, and it was like one-on-one matchups. Because I remember White Chocolate. That was the first time I had watched White Chocolate play from DC. I had heard about him from my cousins that live up there. but I had never watched dude play until that show. And I was like, oh yeah, I see what they've been talking about. Like, yo, he's crazy. I think that's the guy Sierra talking about. Said he looked like, no, that might not be him. Because White Chocolate was like, I want to say he was like Puerto Rican or something. He was mixed. Yeah. He wasn't white, but I remember he had them ears. He had those big ass ears, bro. He looked like dude off of Men in Black. I forgot his fucking name, but that nigga could hoop though, bro. Like his handles,
man. Yo, wow.
Right, I'm about to say he's from up that way. Like, dude was sick though. Like he made his living like hooping. Like, so I definitely remember that show though. I was a basketball head, yo. So like anything that was basketball on TV, I've watched it.
Randy Gill, White Chocolate.
Yeah, he still be hooping a little bit. He done got old now because he got to be in his 60s now, or close to it at least. Because I'm 37, so he at least got to be in his 50s.
Let me see if I can find out. Let's see. Randy Gill, White Chocolate. Oh yeah, he do look old as shit.
Yeah, he old now. He definitely old now.
He do look old.
He still living. I believe he still live in DC too. Cause he still be at what's the joint up Baltimore that Mello and them used to hoop at, the outside joint. I cannot think of the name of it, but I know he still be up there hooping though, or at least like around. So yeah, most of that and1 team is old now. Like White Chocolate was one of the youngest. I said White Chocolate. Hot Sauce was one of the youngest. Him and the Professor, and they're both in their 40s now. They're definitely in their 40s. Professor still hoop, man. He still be out there. I love what he does too, like going to the jails and and hooping with the inmates. I love that. I follow his YouTube and his TikTok.
Wait, they say this page says he's 44.
White Chocolate?
I'm about to share this.
I didn't think he was. I thought he was a lot older than me.
Oh look, let's
nigga Shane the dribbling shit. Hey, bro, Shane was that nigga. Shane was. Let me tell you something, bro.
Y'all go White Chocolate.
If y'all want to have an and1 episode, we can do that one day. Like and I might have to reach out and see who we can get on the pod, man. See, make sure they ain't charging or nothing. And even if they are, I might pay for that. Like,
bro, like we gotta get somebody on here.
That's a good 2-hour episode alone, just talking about and1, man. Because like, and you from New York, so like you know, like the essence of that
exactly,
like,
bro.
I used to play in the record when I was little, in the junior record, like, bro, that feel playing in that or just being there, oh my god, like, yeah. Half man. See, we ain't gonna do this. We gonna pick a random day where we all we can get you on camera. We'll do it like we did Sunday,
bro. This is the kind of shit that I was talking about when I was like, bro, we need to start doing these pop-up weekend episodes or something.
Dog,
like what happened Sunday was a perfect example of what I was talking about. Just a natural, it just came out of nowhere. Everybody was like, all right, bet, let's do it.
Bro, if y'all only knew, like that joint started from Discord, and then we went from Discord, like, yo, let's pod. Like, we just decided to pod.
We went from FaceTime.
Hey, main event was my dog, bro. Like,
to the pod.
Watching him play in Jersey, yo, him, half man, half amazing, Escalade, RIP. It's a list, yo. Yeah, and then once you start going to the down south hoopers, when they started like traveling and bringing in some of them dudes from Georgia, like Hot Sauce, they had some guys from Houston. I'm trying to think, did they ever grab anybody from like New Orleans or anything? They might have.
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think they did.
I'd have to, but I would prepare for that episode. I ain't even gonna go off just memory. Like, we gonna talk if we gonna talk that one.
No, that one we gotta do research for, because it's
the
memory foggy to try to just pull it out of nowhere.
We can definitely do like a essence of history of street ball type episode, man. Like,
oh, for sure. sure.
Because all of us live in different areas, so it's dope for us to be. We
Bruh,
would definitely have
I
that
got
talk.
somebody I'm gonna reach out to and that lives in New York. He kind of grew up between there and down south, but he's a native New Yorker. He's traveled all around, but he's back in New York now. He does art.
Listen, don't make me hit up Grayson
He's
because
a hooper.
you know what's crazy,
No, he
Professor.
don't know.
I think we could actually grab Professor for like a street ball type of episode. Because I want to say he does stuff like that with no charge. To be honest, like he's still in that like love of the game type of thing and giving back.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like you said though, bro, like the stuff that he been doing lately is pretty dope, but
Yeah,
it's been some cool shit, man. It just, bro, like that whole man, that took me back down memory lane. Like,
oh, Lamar Odom at the Rucker. Oh my god, I remember. Hey,
bruh.
Ed, do you even remember that Lamar Odom at the Rucker was funny as hell, yo? Him coming down trying to do the like skip to my Lou joint. He like 6'11" doing that shit.
Bruh.
That shit was hilarious, yo.
I remember as a kid when I went to visit my aunt up in New York, her and her husband, and she was pregnant with my little cousin at the time. This was like 88, 89. No, this was 89 because he was born in 90. Yeah, this was 89. Like in 90, no, this was 90 because it was right before he was born. It was that summer, right before he was born. And I remember my uncle, he had did the t-shirts for a couple of those camps and stuff up there and different street ball things and whatnot. And so I always had the t-shirts and stuff, but that was my first time like actually being there in person. Bro, it is nothing like a good street ball tournament in New York City.
God. Oh my god.
Bro, I'll never, bro, as a kid, I was 9 years old. I'll never forget that shit. Never.
Bro, I used to actually hoop in the AN1 shoes before they got
shit.
when the AN1 shoes were actually dope, because them shits now is just trash as hell. But like I had like 3 or 4 pairs of them joints. I used to beg my mom, like, yo, I need these. Like I'm gonna hoop in these.
Bro, let me tell you,
and them shits was comfortable too, for real.
Bro, me and my cousins, we had a tournament we was playing in. This was not too long after I moved here. And the outfit we picked out was the AN1 outfit, but we went with it was the sleeveless t-shirt and the AN1 shorts, but we had the Vince Carter shocks.
Ooh, okay.
The black with the gray at the back at the bottom or whatever.
Katie at Dykeman was amazing.
We had
save this, Ant. Stop talking. Stop talking, Ant. We gonna save this for the.
Yeah, bro, chill. We got to put this together, and you definitely gonna be a part of it too.
Yeah,
so don't try to get goes back out. No, save all of this stuff because we need to plan this one out, man. This gotta happen now.
Yeah, I'm about to start reaching out to all them AN1 dudes.
Look, bro, it's crazy because like all of us live in different parts of the country, different age group. Well, we're in the same age group bracket, whatever, but still, it's just like everybody has that memory or something about street ball and whatever. Everybody does. Everybody does. So that's gonna be definitely something we gotta definitely get into and plan out and put together and everything. But before we go, we've been reposting it and everything on our socials. A topic that came up out of the pop-up pod was about athletes and their mental health and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Ahun brought up the question, and Dre kind of ran with it. Him and Dre collaborated and did a whole
very dope pod
on athletes and their mental health, and reached out to some people, and they're still getting responses, comments, likes, and whatnot, videos, and people. One of the sponsors, the guy who actually founded Thintech Nutrition, he sent Dre a video and everything. Hey, please use this. So we just wanted to give those guys another shout out and whatnot. But there's so much more meat on the bone with that topic that we may actually have to like revisit that topic and bring it back up, and rehash some of what they already had discussed and recorded and whatnot. Uh, Simply because it's such an important time. And if you've been following us this whole year plus journey or whatever, even on the CDB network before we even got started and whatnot, mental health is hugely important with all of us, and it's something that we take very seriously. Something that we all open up and discuss about our own personal lives and whatnot. So it's just something that's very near and dear to all of our hearts. And I just wanted to make sure I took time out because I don't have no rant this week, and I'm not even gonna give out a CDL scholarship or nothing like that. I just wanted to make sure we at least carved out this time to let y'all know, like, I believe if you go to the CDB multimedia page at CDB multimedia, it'll pull up. If you go to the Dre Lax pod, it'll pull up. Sucio Sports has reposted it. I've reposted it. Keyz. So if you find one of us on social media, you will see that we have reposted and shared, like, commented, whatever, on this post and for this pod. We'd appreciate it if y'all would at least give it a listen, send it to somebody, like, share, subscribe, whatever. But that one's real important to all of us. And so
yeah, especially like as athletes, just when you get to that point where you realize like you're not, and to some people it happens at a young age, right? Because of injuries and different factors. For me, it was a knee injury. And you know, I'm still, you know, local YMCA hooper. But as far as being able to play in college and just on that level, it was cut short. Not being able to play at a high, even at that level, and knowing that I can't go back to play like I wanted to was a lot, man. I lived basketball. That was what I knew. Yeah. Like I was a hooper. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely a depression you go through. To know that a dream that you may have, as far as whether it's the NBA, whether it's overseas, you know, whatever, is done. Especially if you kind of like structure your life for that, right? You don't have a backup plan. You don't have the plan B. Everybody has a pivot. But that's a lot of times people don't. So it's like going through that depression and that mental and like getting yourself to being okay with, all right, so what's next? What's my next transition in life? Like, is it coaching? A lot of people put that on their kids, of course. And just different things like that, or just finding different ways. A lot of people have found new careers in coaching or like front office or just something where they stay close to the sport in some type of way. But that was kind of like what the discussion was. And then even from that, like even like that, it was like a two-parter in a sense where it was like, how did you feel? But then where did you go from that? You know what I mean? Like, how did
that initial like
transition?
You're no longer doing this, you know, how did that go? And then how did you transition from, okay, I've come to grips with this, here's how I move past it? It was like it was like one question, but it really had two different parts and two different answers to it. Because like you said, if you break it down into those two subsets, it's two total different things. Because coming to grips with it is one thing. But then that could send you into a whole nother spiral. And so now you have to figure out, how do I get over this? And that right there is like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's a great topic. And shout out to Ahun for pulling that up. Shout out to him and Ahun Andre for pulling this together. And I mean, literally in 24 hours, they turned just a general topic that we was shooting the shit, brought it up, and turned it into something like pretty big in our eyes. And just to get the kind of participation and whatnot on that subject is great. I reached out to a cousin of mine. He played ball at a D1 level, played some pro ball overseas and whatnot. He was like, yeah, man, I love to do it. But, you know, he's a coach and a teacher and he got kids and stuff. So it's like just trying to figure out a time to get him on. Reached out to another friend of mine, and I want to say we got to wait till after football season probably to get him on, and in between recruiting and all of that kind of stuff. But he was like, yeah, man, I love to do it. So and just waiting to get a couple of like, player coaches or whatever that I know that are, have done it at a high level, to see when I can pull them in and get them involved in that conversation and whatnot, because that's something that we're always going to talk about. We're always going to bring up. It's just, I'm really happy and proud of those guys for doing that, bringing that up and pulling that together. And then not only doing it, but I mean, doing it and doing it well.
Yeah,
24
definitely.
hours. So shout out to y'all.
I need y'all's drive because, yeah, I be procrastinating like a motherfucker.
Bruh, I'm telling you, the only reason why, like, I was able to do this over this last week is because I was like, I gotta figure out like how much more can I put out to get the name out, to get the word out, to drive up the clicks, views, subscribes, likes, and all of that. And I was just like, you gotta grind it out and work it out. Like that's it.
The best way is going on tour, being on other people's pods.
Bro, that's what I gotta do. That's what I gotta do. But the best part about it was nothing was forced. It was all organic.
Yeah.
And I don't want to force nobody to fuck with us or to rock with us like that, or to put us on or nothing like that. Like we all of everything that we're doing is totally organic at CDB. There's no forcing nothing. There's no ass kissing. There's no none of that, man.
We're just a bunch of guys that love the stuff that we talk about and do. And
exactly.
You know what I mean? We came together like, as friends through wrestling. And then as we've all talked about other stuff, we're like, us finding out, Sloan and Ahan have they had a podcast, but they also had a network. And as we were talking about doing pods, Ahan being his ADHD self that he is, he's more or less like, hey guys, we should just combine everything together.
Let's just do this.
We got the network, so let's put it all under one umbrella. And it's been for all of us. I mean, I think I can speak for everybody. Like it's been a great thing for all of us because it's given us something to look forward to, stuff to do, drive, motivation, and we're now like we're trying to take this to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? And I appreciate everybody that's in the comments every week, that view, that even people who watch afterwards, listen. However, like I appreciate you personally because, like for me, like I love podcasting, I love talking. So this is just dope, and to do it with OG like Jermaine, bro, it's just it's definitely been dope for real. So
it was funny because I was talking with another friend of mine, and he was like, how do you find time, or how do you do this? I said, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said I really didn't want to do it. I said I really didn't, but I looked at the homies, and they was like, come on, bro. You still got it. You still got stuff left. And I guess I just I felt like Mark Henry. I put on my salmon colored jacket. And I had to let everybody know I got a whole lot left in the tank.
Listen, motherfuckers thought I was done. I ain't done.
I got a lot left. Yeah, man. But nah, it's something that like he said, it gives us something to look forward to. It gives us something to actually like really just, you know what I'm saying, just like get in and get going, and just it's not only something to look forward to, but it gives you that motivation, that drive to like, okay, I know if nothing else in my life is going right, I know for that 2 hours or whatever a week, I could just escape and just be myself and just kind of like pull away from everything else that's bothering me, that's getting on my nerves, that's whatever else it is, you know what I'm saying? Just it's just that it gives you that motivation, and it's good for all of us because we all needed something, and everybody needed something, especially coming out of the pandemic and whatnot. A lot of times people didn't realize like how much you really needed just like other things outside of just the norm, and getting podcasts together and doing it with your friends and making it mean something, and kind of give the people a different flavor. And one of the things consistently that I've been hearing from people and getting feedback on, especially like Saturday night when we was hanging out with some of my friends, was that they said, I love the fact that when you guys are on the pod, it's just y'all, and y'all just sound like y'all just talking. Y'all not planning nothing. Y'all don't force nothing. It don't sound like it's like, okay, we only giving ourselves 5 minutes on this topic, and then we got to hit this. And it says it just sounds like just two people hanging out, chilling, talking. He was like, but the best thing about it is
should
y'all,
be.
exactly, y'all entertain us and y'all inform us while y'all just sitting there just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I appreciate that comment more than any other comment, because that's literally what we intended to do when we started this.
Yeah.
We didn't want it to sound full.
We're unprofessional as hell. Y'all see my kids all the time.
Look, I was on BRP and fucking Max was here. Like, bro, what do you want to get on the pod? And I put him up here and then he didn't want to do nothing. So I put his ass back down.
Like, bro, y'all see my kids all the time. Look, surprised ain't nobody else came downstairs yet. Or
Maddie was just down here, like, I think she was fixing some water or something and cutting pizza, and she be in there baking and stuff. Like, I had to ask Zell the other night, because we were still watching the game. And we was all down here watching the game. I was like, hey, I got to record this podcast real quick. I get on the computer and stuff. I was like, hey, can you hear my TV? He was like, nah, it's good. All right, me and the kids were sitting here watching the game. I had to hop on the pod. So, but yeah, man.
Dodgers smoked the Mets.
Seriously?
8-0. I mean, I wanted to be a Subway series, because we ain't really touch on baseball too much, so we'll end with that. I still want it to be a Subway series, right? Like, we ain't had that since like what, 93, I think it was.
Hold up. Oh, no. It was right after 9/11.
Was it?
It was right after 9/11. Yeah. It was 01. It was 01 or 02. It was 01 or 02, one of them 2 years. But I do remember
2001.
Okay. I knew it was right after 9/11. But yeah, that's the last time, because I remember Mike Piazza was playing for the
No,
Mets at
that it was 2000. Sorry, 2001 was the Diamondbacks.
Okay, so it was before 9/11.
Yeah,
but
it was 2000.
Piazza was on that team, though. I know Mike Piazza was on that Mets team for sure.
Hold on, I can tell you. It was definitely 2000 though.
Yeah, he was on that Mets team. He was. Okay, that's what I thought. Because that it was in that bat he had against Roger Clemens or something like that, where they got into it when Clemens was on the Yankees. That's what I remember about that one.
But I also think Yankees Dodgers is going to be dope, just because of the Ohtani and Aaron Judge thing. Like, it's a lot of factors.
The classic New York LA matchup, you know.
Right. And it's crazy because I was about to say 3 of the last 4 teams are original New York teams. Exactly. Nobody cares about the Guardians. I'm sorry. Y'all just here. Be happy that you made it. Like, no funny, just be happy you made it. This Mets Dodgers one may go all the way. And the great thing is the Yankees are gonna sweep the Guardians. So we're gonna be at home chilling. And I say we because I'm a Yankee fan also. You play that damn sound.
I got my shit back.
But yeah, the Yankees are gonna sweep the Guardians, so they're gonna be at home chilling, waiting on whoever wins this series. Because this series definitely it's gonna be a back and forth. The Mets are no slouch this year. So
no, and that's the biggest thing that I love when you have them kind of opposite coast series is how teams travel. Travel is no longer a major factor like it used to be. The guys aren't waiting at the gate and checking in Southwest flights in Spirit and not having to check their bags like the rest of us brokies. Like, they're flying charter private jets across country.
Yeah,
it's not like, trust me, and they're fit for pro athletes to be on these planes and whatnot. They ain't getting on no regular flights like the rest of us. Okay, so let's just body clock maybe, especially going from east to west. it might screw you up or something, but let's not get it twisted. Do not cry for them. They are not having that difficult of a time. Trust me. Trust me. Anyway, man, with that being said, I appreciate you, dog. Shout out to the whole network, man. Lucio Boys, the CDB Pod, Shogun Soccer Sit Down. I had to put it on a note because I was gonna forget it. When I've been doing all these pods and stuff, and everybody say, "Hey, what do you do?" I had to have a note because I'll forget. And also the Four Corners of Commentary, Drelax, Aim High, Aim High, and CDB. Those were the two pods on the network that collabed on the sports athletes mental health thing.
Listen, we don't do this often, but shout out to the dirty water niggas, man. You already know.
Bruh. Hey,
that pod is coming soon. That's the pod that's coming soon. We might do that.
Wait.
That might be the once a month pod. That's the once a month pod.
Let me tell y'all something.
You ever been in our spaces?
If you think the Sucio Boys was unhinged, Lord help us. We're gonna have to go live on something. We're gonna have to only go live on Twitter because a Dirty Water podcast. Oh,
nasty work. Very nasty work. Hey man, Lonzo had a little decent night tonight, man. 10 points, 4 for 6, 2 for 4 from 3, 15 minutes played.
Hey man, I'm happy for that kid, bro. Like I'm glad he came back, and I'm glad he getting a chance to ball. For the whole CDB Multimedia Network, for Inplay Dogs, for Gel Blasters, for all the sponsors on the network, FinTech, Dr. Dabba, 710 Labs, Chocolate, fuck all y'all. I didn't write the sponsors down yet. I'm gonna write them down next. But for everybody, man, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We out of here.
I'm about to go medicate.
I'm about to go to sleep.